Ethan, I'm taking Julian up to the Aspen Lodge for a month. He needs to find his artistic muse. On the other end of the line, my wife Lily's voice was as light and breezy as if she were discussing the weather. I transferred 50 grand into your account. That should be enough. Be a good boy, stay at home, and don't call me. I didn't say a word. I just heard a gentle male voice cut in. Lily, why waste your breath on him? He's a loser. Can he even survive without you? That was Julian Gray, the one that got away, the man she's held in her heart for 10 years. I gripped the phone, listening to them snicker and flirt until the line went dead. I exhaled slowly. There was no anger, no screaming, just a dead silence in my heart. 10 years of marriage. I served her hand and foot, built a business empire for her, and shielded her from every storm. In the end, all I got was loser. Phoenix. Home. As of today, this home is gone. I dial my assistant's number. Marcus, notify all shareholders. Emergency online board meeting in 30 minutes. Also, get the best divorce legal team on the line. I want them in my office in 10 minutes. Marcus paused on the other end, stunned, but his professional training kicked in. Understood, Mr. Cole. Mr. Cole. Lily and her family hadn't called me that a long time. In their eyes, I was just a Vance family's dog, a live-in husband who had climbed the social ladder by clinging to their coattails. They forgot that the Vance Corp, now valued in the billions, was actually controlled by me. I walked to the massive floor-to-ceiling window, looking down at the financial district of Manhattan. Lily, you think you took a month of peace and a lover with you? No, you took the last shred of my affection. And now, I'm taking back everything I gave you. 30 minutes later, the Zoom meeting started on time. Faces, both familiar and strange, popped up on the screen, board members and Vance family relatives. My father-in-law, George Vance, the chairman in name only, was the first to speak, his tone dripping with paternal condescension. Ethan, what is this nonsense? Calling a meeting this late? I ignored him and announced to the room. I have decided that effective immediately, Vance Corp will be dissolved. All assets will be liquidated. One stone stirred 1,000 waves. The virtual meeting room exploded. Ethan, are you insane? Do you know what you're saying? Dissolve? This is the Vance family legacy. What right do you have? You're just a charity case husband. Who gave you the nerve? I watched their flushed, angry faces, a cold sneer curling my lips. What right? I signaled Marcus to cast a document onto the shared screen. The right of holding a 95% absolute controlling stake. The document was there in black and white. Over 10 years, I had slowly diluted their shares and bought them out step by step. They always thought the company was still in Vance's hands, thought I was just a high-level employee. Laughably stupid. George's face turned ashen. He pointed a shaking finger at me on the screen. This is betrayal. Without the Vance family, you are nothing. Is that so? I drawled. George, have you forgotten? That $300,000 you invested in me back then? I bought out all your original shares for $1 million the very next year. As for the Vance name, I chuckled. Aside from causing me headaches, it hasn't been much use. All of you, using the family banner to throw your weight around, taking kickbacks, embezzling. Do I need to open the books and show you how many holes I've plugged? The meeting room went dead silent. Not a single one of them was clean. I held leverage over everyone. What? What do you want? George's voice was weak. Simple. I looked at him. Either you sign the papers with some dignity and take the 5% cash out you deserve and get lost, or I hand this evidence over to the SEC and the DA and we all go down together. My life is cheap. I don't care. Do you? Dead silence. I leaned back in my chair, quietly enjoying the transition of expressions on their faces, from anger to terror and finally to despair. Just then, my personal cell rang. It was Lily's best friend, Sophia Quinn. Ethan, you're finally fighting back? Her voice held a trace of suppressed satisfaction. I was slightly surprised. How did you know? I just saw the news. Vance Corp stock is plummeting. Sophia paused. I found something on Lily's computer. About Julian. I think you want to know. What is it? An encrypted folder. Password was Julian's birthday. Sophia's voice dropped low. Inside, it's records of all the money Lily transferred to Julian over the years. Plus, real estate they bought together and even a business plan for a company she was preparing to gift him. That company uses the technology and patents that are the core of your next project. My heart sank like a stone. So, she didn't just want my money, she wanted my life's work. Send it to me. After hanging up with Sophia, the last trace of warmth in my eyes vanished. She had been plotting this for a long time, preparing to hollow me out to pave the road for the love of her life. Good. Very good. On the conference screen, George and the others were still struggling in vain. Ethan, leave a way out. Don't back us into a corner. I laughed. Back you into a corner? When Lily took another man on a romantic getaway, did she think about backing me into a corner? When you leeches were sucking the company dry, did you think about me? Game over. I gave them no further chances. I ordered the lawyers. Initiate liquidation procedures. Notify all partners that Vance Corp is dissolving today. Also, release a statement. I am establishing a new firm, Aurora Capital. Talent is welcome. I ended the video call. The world was finally quiet. The legal team was efficient. In less than an hour, the news of Vance Corp's dissolution spread through Wall Street. The stock price tanked instantly. Countless calls flooded the company lines, people digging for information or terminating contracts. My phone was blowing up too. I didn't answer a single one. I sat quietly in my office, pouring myself a glass of red wine. The crimson liquid swirled in the glass, looking just like the blood I'd bled for 10 years. At 10 p.m., my phone rang again. A strange number, area code from Aspen. I answered. Ethan, what the hell are you doing? Lily's voice was shrill and furious, none of her previous composure remaining. We've only been gone a day, and the company's stock has crashed. Did you do this on purpose? I swirled my wine, speaking faintly. Didn't you tell me not to call you? You! Lily choked, then screamed in a rage. I don't care what you do. Get that stock price back up immediately, or I won't forgive you. Oh, I chuckled. How will you not forgive me? Don't forget, everything you have was given by the Vance family. I can lift you up, and I can tear you down. Hearing these familiar words, I laughed out loud. Lily, are you still dreaming? Why don't you check the financial news? Vance Corp doesn't exist anymore. What? Lily's voice was filled with disbelief. I could picture her face. It must be spectacular. You're lying. That's impossible, she shrieked. Believe it or not, I couldn't be bothered to waste more breath. Also, my lawyer is sending you the divorce papers. I've already signed them. All the properties and cars in your name were gifts from my premarital assets. I've revoked them. The money in your bank account was embezzled from company funds. I've already reported it. The Fed should be contacting you shortly. As for that lodge you and Julian are staying in. I paused, my voice cold as ice. That was my 10th anniversary gift to you. The deed is in my name. I've authorized a realtor to list it. Fire sale, 3 days only. By the way, the power, water, and internet will be cut in 5 minutes. I hope you two enjoy your romantic getaway in the dark, freezing mountains. I hung up. The world was completely silent. I silenced my phone and tossed it aside. There was a knock at the door. Marcus walked in, followed by a woman in a sharp business suit, radiating capability. Sophia Quinn. She placed a flash drive on my desk. In here is all the evidence of Lily transferring assets and stealing your trade secrets. Ethan, she looked at me, her eyes complex. I know you're hurting right now, but... I interrupted her. I'm not hurting. I looked at her, articulating every word. I just feel like I fed the last 10 years to a dog. Sophia paused, then gave a bitter smile. Yeah, to a dog. She sighed. Actually, I wanted to tell you this a long time ago. 3 years ago, when you were in that car accident and fighting for your life in the ICU. Lily was in the hotel next door, keeping Julian company. He had just returned to the States. She said if he died, she could inherit everything and be with Julian openly. My heart felt like it was being crushed by an invisible hand. So the car accident that nearly killed me 3 years ago was, in her eyes, a stroke of incredible luck. I closed my eyes. When I opened them again, only endless coldness remained. Sophia, yeah. Are you interested in building a real business empire with me? Sophia looked at me, a light flickering in her eyes. Without hesitation, she extended her hand. It would be an honor. The next day, the entire business world detonated. Billion-dollar Vance Corp dissolves overnight. Founder Ethan Cole rises from the ashes. Mystery tycoon Ethan Cole revealed. Real net worth may exceed $1 trillion. The trophy husband's revenge? No, the dragon awakes. Headlines everywhere were about me. I was no longer Ethan, the man who had to beg for the Vance family's approval. I was the founder of Aurora Capital, a shark holding massive capital reserves. My office threshold was nearly worn down by visitors. Partners who used to ignore me were now lining up with contracts, begging for a meeting. The Vance relatives were crying and calling, begging me to let them off the hook. I saw no one. I ignored them all. Marcus handled the liquidation with methodical precision. Vance Corp's prime assets were rapidly merged into Aurora Capital, while toxic assets were bundled and sold off. The parasites of the Vance family fell from heaven to hell overnight. Their personal companies went bankrupt, properties were seized, and some faced jail time for embezzlement. George had a stroke from the rage and was lying in a hospital bed, paralyzed. My former mother-in-law, the aristocrat who used to look down her nose at me, came to my building to throw a tantrum, screaming that I was an ingrate who would rot in hell. I had security escort her out. Through it all, I never show my face, because I knew the real show hadn't started yet. Lily had to come back. Sure enough, on the afternoon of the third day, a taxi pulled up downstairs. Two people got out, Lily and Julian, rushing back from Aspen in disgrace. Lily was wearing an expensive custom dress, now splattered with mud and wrinkled. Her hair was a mess, mascara running, her face etched with exhaustion and venom. Julian trailed behind her. The so-called artist looked like a refugee, utterly dispirited. 3 days in a freezing mountain cabin without utilities had clearly broken them. Security stopped them at the door. Lily pointed a shaking finger at the building, screaming at the guards. "Do you know who I am? I'm Ethan Cole's wife. This company is mine. Tell him to get his ass down here." The guard gave a look that said, "Not my problem," and did his job blocking her. I stood by the floor-to-ceiling window, coldly watching the farce below. Sophia stood beside me, handing me a coffee. "Satisfied?" she asked. I shook my head. "No, this is just the beginning." I picked up the internal line to the front desk. "Let Ms. Vance and Mr. Gray up." Sophia looked at me, puzzled. I smiled. "I want them to understand exactly how they died." Minutes later, the office door was shoved open. Lily stormed in like a hurricane, eyes red, glaring at me. "Ethan, you lunatic, give me back my company." I sat in my leather chair, watching her with leisurely composure. "Your company? Ms. Vance, are you confused? Vance Corp has been liquidated." "You." Lily choked, too angry to speak. Behind her, Julian saw the luxury of my office, and a glint of greed and jealousy passed through his eyes. He stepped forward, adopting a superior posture. "Ethan, I know you're upset, but be a man about this." Lily was just confused for a moment. "Give the company back to her, and we'll let bygones be bygones." It was the funniest joke I'd ever heard. "We? Who the hell are you to say we to me?" I stood up and walked toward him slowly. I was taller than him, and my years of staying in shape gave me an imposing physical presence. Julian instinctively took a step back. A kept man living off a woman, a thief stealing corporate secrets. "Who gave you the courage to stand there and speak to me?" With every word, Julian's face grew paler. Lily immediately rushed to protect him, screaming, "Ethan, don't you dare insult him." "Insult?" I sneered. "Sophia, show them the goods." Sophia handed a tablet to Lily. Playing on the screen was a video of her and Julian in the villa, discussing how to steal my technology and replace me. There was also an audio recording of her crying to Julian, saying she regretted marrying a loser like me for money. Lily's face drained of blood. Smack! The tablet hit the floor. This is," she stammered. "What is this?" I stepped closer, my voice devoid of emotion. "This is hard evidence of your betrayal. Lily, 10 years. I thought even a stone could be warmed up by now. But I never expected your heart to be colder than stone." Looking at her pale face, I suddenly felt bored. Entangling myself with people like this was a waste of life. "Get out." I waved my hand as if shooing away flies. "Before I call security, take your man and vanish from my world." "No. Ethan, you can't do this to me." Lily acted like she was grabbing at a final straw, lunging to hug my leg. I sidestepped, letting her crash awkwardly onto the floor. "Why can't I?" I looked down at her. "Forgot? You said it yourself. I'm a loser who can't survive without you. Now, I'm living quite well. And you? You have nothing. Isn't this what you wanted?" Julian looked at the pathetic mess on the floor with disgusted impatience. He didn't help her up. Instead, he turned to me. "Ethan, I know you hate us, but what's done is done. Let's make a deal." "Oh." I looked at him with amusement. "What do you want to negotiate?" "Give me 100 million, Julian said, opening his mouth like a lion. "I promise to take Lily far away and never appear in front of you again." I laughed in anger. I'd seen shameless people, but never this shameless. 100 million? I looked at him like he was an idiot. "You think your face is worth that price? Or do you think Lily is worth that price?" I turned to Lily on the floor. She was looking at Julian in disbelief. She probably never imagined a man she cherished would put a price tag on her like a piece of merchandise. "Julian, you." Lily's voice trembled. Julian cut her off impatiently. "Lily, stop making a scene. We have nothing now. How are we supposed to live without money? Ethan is loaded. 100 million is a drop in the bucket for him." His self-righteousness was breathtaking. I shook my head and turned to Sophia. "Call the cops. Tell them we have a case of commercial extortion and trespassing." Sophia immediately pulled out her phone. Julian's expression changed instantly. He panicked. "Ethan, don't push it. If you back me into a corner, I'll leak your secrets." My secrets? I raised an eyebrow. What secrets? You, you cheated. Julian grasped at straws, pointing at Sophia. You and she have been sleeping together for ages. Why else would she help you? Sophia's face darkened. I laughed. And Julian froze. And what? Even if I cheated, so what? I walked up to him and patted his cheek. Lily and I are divorced. I'm single. Who I sleep with is none of your damn business. But you... I leaned into his ear, whispering so only he could hear. Do you think stealing trade secrets just means jail time? I guarantee you'll rot in there. Spend the rest of your life exchanging artistic inspiration with your fellow inmates. Julian's body went rigid, eyes filled with terror. He knew I wasn't joking. Just then, several large security guards rushed in. Mr. Cole, throw these two out. I ordered coldly. Yes, sir. The guards hoisted a limp Lily and a pale-faced Julian, dragging them out of the office like dead dogs. Lily's wails and Julian's curses faded down the hall. The office finally returned to silence. Sophia walked up to me. Are you really going to press charges? Of course. I looked out the window. Do the crime, pay the time. Besides, I turned to look at Sophia, a smile touching my eyes. Didn't he just remind me? Sophia blinked. Remind you of what? That we could be together, out in the open. Sophia's face flushed red as an apple. She glared at me playfully, but the corners of her mouth couldn't help lifting. Looking at her charming face, the gloom that had accumulated in my heart for 10 years seemed to dissipate in the sunlight. Maybe I should thank Lily. If not for her cruelty, how would I have met the light that truly belongs to me? In the days that followed, I threw myself into building Aurora Capital. With Sophia's assistance, the company rapidly got on track. We recruited top-tier talent and made precise investments in high-potential projects with staggering returns. The name Aurora Capital became a legend in financial circles. And I completely shed the label of Vance family doormat, becoming someone countless people looked up to and fawned over. As for Lily and Julian, their fate was even worse than I imagined. Julian was sentenced to 15 years for theft of trade secrets and extortion. Lily, though not directly involved in the theft, was sentenced to 3 years for harboring a criminal and embezzlement. The Vance family collapsed completely. George never recovered from a stroke and remained in a vegetative state. My former mother-in-law couldn't handle the shock. She had a breakdown and was admitted to a psychiatric facility. The relatives who used to strut around scattered like monkeys when a tree falls, deep in debt and hiding from creditors. I heard these updates occasionally with zero emotion. Pitiful people usually have hateful reasons for being where they are. They brought this on themselves. One day, while I was processing documents, Marcus knocked. Mr. Cole, a lady wishes to see you. She says her name is Evelyn Wright, a friend of your mother. I paused. Mother? My mother died when I was very young. I had almost no memory of her. Why would her friend look for me? Send her in. Moments later, a woman in her 50s with a gentle, refined aura walked in. Her eyes lit up when she saw me, followed by a look of emotion and sadness. You must be Ethan. You look just like your mother did. I asked her to sit, puzzled. Ms. Right you are. Call me Evelyn. I was your mother's college classmate and her best friend. Evelyn pulled a yellowing envelope from her bag. Before she passed, your mother entrusted this to me. She said to give it to you only when you were truly independent and no longer relied on anyone. I took the envelope, fingers trembling slightly. On it was my mother's elegant handwriting. For my son, Ethan. Inside was a letter and an ancient-looking key. The letter was short, but contained massive information. It turned out my mother wasn't from a common background. She came from the Sterling family, a reclusive, ultra-wealthy dynasty based in Greenwich in Old New York. Years ago, she ran away with my father for love, breaking ties with the family. She left this letter hoping one day I could reclaim my heritage. The key was for a secret vault the Sterlings kept overseas, supposedly holding generations of wealth and connections. I held the letter, unable to calm down. I always thought I was self-made. I didn't know a colossus of a family stood behind me. Evelyn watched my shocked expression and sighed. Your mother was brilliant. It's a pity she gave up so much for your father. Ethan, I know you're successful now and might not care for the Sterling family's help, but this was her dying wish. I hope you can go to the estate and take a look. Your grandfather, Arthur Sterling, has been silently watching you all these years. I fell silent. Go to the Sterling estate? Reclaim my roots? This meant stepping into a completely strange world, facing unknown challenges and family infighting. But it was her wish. I looked at the heavy key on the desk. The door opened, and Sophia walked in with tea. She nodded politely to Evelyn. Seeing my grave expression and the letter, she asked with concern, "What happened?" I handed her the letter. Sophia read it, equally shocked. She looked at me, her eyes free of greed, filled only with pure concern. "Do you want to go?" she asked. I looked into her eyes. "Do you want me to go?" Sophia was silent for a moment, then firmly held my hand. "Whatever you decide, I support you. If you want to go, I'll go with you. Who cares if it's a Sterling family? Together, we fear nothing. If you don't want to go, we stay here. Aurora Capital is our own kingdom." Her hand was warm, her eyes bright. In that moment, my hesitation vanished. I smiled. I squeezed her hand and turned to Evelyn. "Evelyn, thank you. Please tell Mr. Sterling I will visit the estate in person in 1 month." "Go. Why not?" I wanted to see what this so-called hidden dynasty looked like. And I wanted the Sterlings to see that I, Ethan Cole, could stand on top of the world even without them. And now I had Sophia. Together, the future was limitless. 1 month later, Sophia and I boarded a plane in New York. Evelyn had informed the family. When the private jet landed, a row of bodyguards in black suits stood on the tarmac, led by a spirited old butler. "Master Ethan, Ms. Quinn, welcome home." The butler bowed respectfully. "Mr. Sterling has been waiting." The grandeur was beyond my expectations. We got into a stretch Rolls-Royce, driving smoothly to a massive estate in Greenwich. It was sprawling, filled with pavilions and gardens, like a royal palace. The car stopped in front of the main mansion. An old man with white hair but a sharp, imposing presence stood at the door, leaning on a cane. My grandfather, the patriarch, Arthur Sterling. Seeing me, a flash of emotion crossed his cloudy eyes before calm returned. "You're back." His voice was aged but powerful. I looked at this stranger connected by blood. "Grandfather?" Arthur trembled slightly, then nodded. Good. You're back. Let's go inside. It's cold." The interior was magnificent, the walls lined with masterpieces worth fortunes. The living room was full of people. These must be the relatives, uncles, aunts, cousins. They looked at Sophia and me with mixed expressions. Curiosity, scrutiny, disdain, hostility. A woman dripping in jewelry spoke in a sarcastic tone. "Oh, so this is the son my sister had with that wild man. Doesn't look like much." This was my aunt, Karen Sterling. Beside her, a greasy-looking young man, likely my cousin Brad, looked Sophia up and down with a lecherous glint. "Mom, check out the chick you brought. Pretty hot." Sophia's face went cold. Before I could speak, Arthur slammed his cane on the floor. "Shut up. Anyone who speaks nonsense again can get out of my house." Karen and her son went silent instantly. Arthur turned to me, his face softening. "Ethan, don't mind them. Let me introduce you." He pointed to a refined, middle-aged man. "This is your eldest uncle, Richard Sterling." Then a wooden-looking man. "This is your third uncle, Henry Sterling." Richard nodded politely. Henry just glanced at me and looked down. "As for the rest, you'll meet them later." Arthur clearly couldn't be bothered. He pulled me to sit at the head of the table. This move changed everyone's expression. The head seat was for the patriarch. Arthur was announcing to everyone that I, Ethan Cole, was the future heir. "Dad, what is the meaning of this?" Karen jumped up first. "He's an outsider. Why does he get that seat?" "Because he is Arthur Sterling's grandson, my daughter's only blood." Arthur glared at her. "If you don't like it, get out." Karen turned green but didn't dare speak. Uncle Richard pushed up his glasses and spoke slowly. "Dad, I know you're happy Ethan is back, but the succession concerns the future of the entire family. Isn't this rash? Ethan grew up outside. He knows nothing of our business. Letting him take over might not convince the board." His words drew agreement from the room. "Yeah, Richard is right. We can't be biased just because he's her son. We worked hard for this family, while an outsider picked the fruit." I looked at their hypocritical faces and sneered internally. Standard rich family dynamics. Thin blood, thick greed. Before I could speak, Sophia stood up. She placed a document on the table, her voice cool and powerful. "Perhaps you don't know Ethan very well. This is the performance report for Aurora Capital, which he founded single-handedly over the past month. 1 month, $30 billion in profit. I'd like to ask everyone present, whose company here can match that?" The living room went instantly silent. 30 billion. The number hit like a bomb, leaving everyone dizzy. Their eyes changed instantly, from disdain to shock and fear. Richard picked up the report, his face growing grave. He knew this couldn't be faked. The nephew he looked down on was a terrifying financial genius. Arthur watched their reactions, a proud smile appearing. He patted my shoulder and laughed. "See that? That's Arthur Sterling's grandson, my daughter's son. Who else has an objection?" No one dared make a sound. In this family, power was everything, and I had used absolute power to shut them up. My first dinner at the Sterling estate was full of undercurrents. Aside from Grandpa and Richard occasionally speaking to me, the others ate with their heads down or stole complicated glances at me. Especially Karen and Brad. Their jealousy and resentment were spilling over. I knew they wouldn't let this go. After dinner, Grandpa called me to his study. "Ethan, I'm sorry you had to deal with that." "It's nothing," I said calmly. "Expect it. You're stronger than your mother." Arthur looked at me with relief. She was too kind, too soft. He took a box from the shelf. "These are files on all Sterling Industries. Take a look. Starting tomorrow, you go to corporate headquarters as vice president. I give you 3 months. If you can prove yourself, the position of patriarch is yours." I took the box. I liked letting results speak. Back at the guest house, Sophia was reading. She stood up immediately. "What did he say?" I handed her the box and explained the deal. Sophia frowned as she flipped through the files. The Sterling portfolio is massive. Real estate, energy, entertainment. But it's mostly traditional industries. Profits are sliding. Plus, the internal politics are a mess. Richard, Karen, Henry, everyone has their own cronies. Making a mark in 3 months will be hard. I smiled and pulled her into my arms. "It's only a challenge if it's hard, right?" I whispered. "Besides, I'm not fighting alone. I have you." Sophia blushed and punched me lightly. Smooth talker. The next day, I reported to Sterling Group. As VP, I reported to the CEO, Uncle Richard. Richard was polite on the surface, giving me a grand office and introducing me to the execs. But behind my back, he sidelined me. He gave me irrelevant busy work or doomed projects. The staff were seasoned corporate survivors. Seeing the CEO's attitude, they paid me lip service while ignoring my orders. I sat in my office, drinking tea, seemingly doing nothing. Aunt Karen came by often to mock me. "Oh, our big VP, studying world affairs again?" I ignored her. I knew they were waiting for me to fail, to leave in disgrace after 3 months. But they didn't know I was waiting for a chance, a kill shot to flip the board. The chance came quickly. Sophia used her network to get inside info. Europe's largest renewable energy firm, Solara Group, had a broken capital chain and was looking for a buyer. Solara held top-tier battery tech, the core of future EVs and tech sectors. Whoever grabbed Solara grabbed the next decade of wealth. I knew this was it. The Sterlings had a dying auto manufacturer. Combining Solara's tech with Sterling production lines would launch the family into the stratosphere. But the price tag was astronomical, and global sharks were circling. I took the proposal straight to Grandpa. Arthur was silent for a long time. "The risk is too high. If we fail, the family takes a massive hit. High risk, high reward." I looked at him firmly. "Grandfather, trust me." Arthur looked at me, seeing his younger self. Finally, he slammed the desk. "Good. I trust you. I'll call a board meeting as patriarch. Let's see who dares oppose." At the board meeting, when I proposed using family reserves to buy Solara, everyone exploded. "Ethan, you're crazy. This is gambling." Karen shrieked. Richard frowned. "Ethan, this is too aggressive. We know nothing about renewables. If this fails, the consequences are unthinkable." I opposed. Too. Watching the angry board, I sneered. "Short-sighted fools." I stood up. "You see risk. I see opportunity. You guard the ancestors' pile of gold, refusing to evolve, just fighting amongst yourselves. One day you'll bankrupt this family. I'm telling you now, I'm doing this deal. If it succeeds, the Sterlings enter a new golden age. If it fails..." I paused, voice steady. "I, Ethan Cole, will leave with nothing. I will cut ties with the family, and I will use all assets of Aurora Capital to cover the family's losses." Silence. Everyone was stunned. Betting my entire fortune? Arthur stood up, eyes blazing. "I agree to Ethan's plan. From now on, all family resources are at his disposal. Anyone who sabotages this answers to me." With the old man's hammer down, the acquisition began. A global capital war kicked off, and I was the commander. Buying Solara was harder than imagined. It was a war without smoke. Price wars, PR wars, info wars. The board fought constantly. Karen and Brad buzzed like flies, spreading negativity. "Stock's down again. Told you so. Ethan, can you even do this? Just quit before you drag us all down." Uncle Richard wasn't openly hostile, but was passive-aggressive, creating hurdles. Except for Grandpa and a few young staffers I promoted, no one believed in this. Sophia was my rock. She analyzed data with me late into the night. Whenever I was tired, she held my hand. "I believe in you." After 2 weeks of brutal negotiation, we reached the final round. Only one rival remained, the Wall Street giant, Blackwood Capital. Blackwood had deep pockets and ruthless tactics. The final bid was in Zurich. Sophia and I flew out with our core team. But the night before the bid, disaster struck. Our lead tech expert, a German man named Hans who was crucial for valuing Solar's patents, vanished. Hotel security footage showed him getting into a black sedan. My heart sank. I didn't need to guess. This was Blackwood Capital's doing. Without the expert's evaluation report, we would be flying blind at the negotiating table, unable to accurately judge the value of Solar's tech, and thus unable to make a rational bid. Tomorrow was the final day. Finding a new expert now was impossible. The team was despondent. What do we do? How do we negotiate? Without Mr. Hans, we're blind. Blackwood is too dirty. Sophia looked grim. I forced myself to stay calm. Blackwood took Hans to handicap us. They thought we were done, but they underestimated me, and they underestimated Sophia. I looked at her. Didn't you say your mentor at MIT is an authority on batteries? Sophia's eyes lit up. Professor Brown. Yes. Contact him immediately, I ordered. Whatever the cost, get him to do a remote assessment for us. On it. Sophia rushed a call. I dialed another number. Evelyn Wright. Evelyn, I need your help. Your contacts in Europe might be useful. 30 minutes later, Sophia had good news. Professor Brown agreed and was rallying his team overnight for the analysis. An hour later, Evelyn called back. Ethan found him. Blackwood's European security chief took Hans. They're holding him at a villa outside Zurich. My local contacts are moving to extract him. I exhaled. Thank you, Evelyn. Don't mention it, kid. I looked at the night sky, eyes cold. Blackwood, if you want to play dirty, don't blame me for being ruthless. The next day, the bidding venue. Blackwood's rep, a blond man named Smith, looked surprised and scornful when he saw us. He clearly thought we were dead meat. The bidding began. Smith opened with an aggressive price to break us. My team looked nervous. I stayed calm, matching his bid slowly, just enough to stay in, forcing him higher. Smith's face grew ugly. He couldn't figure out why we were so confident without our expert. The price climbed to a staggering height, exceeding our budget. My team was sweating. Sophia whispered, Ethan, this is high. The risk is massive. I gave her a reassuring look. Then I raised my paddle. 50 billion euros. The room gasped. That was 5 billion over Blackwood's last bid. I wasn't bidding. I was smashing them with money. Smith turned purple. He glared at me, then grabbed his phone to call headquarters. In that interval, my phone buzzed. A text from a strange number. Target secured. Safe. I smirked. Moments later, Smith put down the phone, looking defeated. Through gritted teeth, he said, You win. He stormed out. Thunderous applause erupted. We won. We had Solara. The team hugged and cheered. Sophia looked at me with adoration. I pulled her into a tight embrace. We won. I whispered. Yes. She nodded into my chest, tearful. The stress vanished. Sunlight poured through the window. I knew a new era was beginning. News of the acquisition flew back home. Sterling Group stocks skyrocketed. The doubters were dumbfounded. Karen and Brad couldn't comprehend how the bastard pulled off a miracle. When we returned, Grandpa and the family core met us at the airport. Their faces held awe and sycophancy now. Ethan, good job. You didn't let me down. Arthur teared up. Uncle Richard approached, looking complex. Ethan, I underestimated you. Don't take my earlier doubts to heart. I smiled noncommittally. Back at the estate, Arthur handed me the dragon-head cane, the symbol of the patriarch, in front of everyone. From today on, Ethan Cole is the head of the Sterling family. All assets and personnel are under his command. Anyone who disobeys faces family law. No one dared object. Karen and Brad stood pale in the corner. I became the helmsman. I didn't purge them immediately. I focused on integrating Solara. I moved the tech team to the U.S., combined them with Sterling Auto, and used Aurora Capital to hire global talent. I announced that in 3 years, we would launch the world's first truly disruptive smart EV. The industry exploded. Orders flew in like snow. The Sterling empire revitalized. I became the era's brightest business star. Sophia became my right hand, known as the Queen of Business. Our bond deepened. One sunny afternoon, I rented out a top-tier restaurant overlooking the skyline and proposed. No crowd, just us. Sophia, will you marry me? She nodded, eyes teary. Our wedding was low-key and warm. Evelyn sat in the elder's seat, beaming. Life was sweet. We worked together, lived together. But just as I thought happiness was permanent, an uninvited guest broke the peace. I was in my office when Marcus knocked, looking awkward. Boss, someone wants to see you. She says her name is Lily Vance. My pen paused. Lily? She should still be in prison. How is she out? Good behavior. Sentence reduced. Marcus whispered. I was silent. Send her in. Years had changed her. She wore cheap clothes, heavy makeup failing to hide her fatigue. Her eyes held regret, jealousy, and unwillingness. Ethan. Her voice was raspy. What do you want? I was cold. She bit her lip. I know I wronged you. I have nothing now. I just want to come back to you. Even as your mistress, I'm willing. She started unbuttoning her coat. Disgust flashed in my eyes. Put your clothes on. She froze, tears falling. Ethan, do you really hate me that much? We were husband and wife. Husband and wife? I laughed coldly. When you took Julian on a romantic getaway to spend my money and pave his way, did you think about us being husband and wife? When I was in a coma, and you were at a hotel waiting for me to die, did you think about us being husband and wife? Every word was a knife. Lily's face turned white. I was wrong, Ethan. I really know it now. She begged. Give me one more chance, please. Chance. I stood up and walked to her. Lily, do you know? The person I should thank most is you. She froze. If not for your betrayal, I wouldn't be here today. If not for you, I wouldn't have met Sophia, wouldn't know what real love is. So I don't hate you. You aren't worth it. You were just a stranger to me. Now leave my company. Never appear again. My words were the final judgment. Lily collapsed, weeping. I called security. Escort her out. She is banned from the building. I felt no joy, only relief. The past was finally dead. I went home. Sophia was in the kitchen. I hugged her from behind, burying my face in her neck. Missed you. She relaxed and patted my hand. What's wrong? You're being clingy. Nothing. Just feeling lucky to have you. Sophia turned and cupped my face. Me too. Life returned to calm, sweeter than before. Our first child, a boy named Noah, was born. He brought endless joy to the Sterling estate. Grandpa Arthur adored him. Professionally, our car, the Kirin, launched. It broke global records. Sterling Group became the world's top tech giant. I had everything, but fate loves a twist. On Noah's third birthday, an unexpected guest crashed the party. Julian. He was thinner, darker, his artistic vibe replaced by madness. He had served time, but somehow he had broken into the estate. He had a gun, pointed right at Noah, who was in Grandpa's arms. Guests screamed and scattered. Chaos. Nobody move. Julian screamed, eyes red. Or I killed the little bastard. Arthur, terrified, shielded Noah. What? What do you want? What? Julian laughed maniacally. I want to chat with my old friend Ethan. His eyes locked on me like a viper. I stepped forward, forcing calm. Julian, let the kid go. Your beef is with me. It's all related. Julian spat. He's your son. Yours and that bitch's. Ethan, you ruined me. You sent me to rot. We're settling this. Sophia was shaking, gripping my arm. Ethan, Noah. I patted her hand. Julian, calm down. You kill us. You don't get away. Get away. Julian laughed. I'm not trying to get away. I'm here to take you to hell. You think you're a god? Let's see what you do now. Just then, a figure rushed out from the side. Lily. She had snuck in too. She charged at Julian like a lioness. Julian, you lunatic. Let the child go. Julian was startled. In that split second, I moved. I lunged like a leopard. Bodyguards flanked him. Julian reacted, pulling the trigger. Bang. Time stopped. Heat bloomed in my chest. Pain. I looked down. Red stained my white suit. I fell. I saw the guards tackle Julian. Sophia screamed, rushing to me. Ethan. Ethan. I tried to smile, to say I was okay. But I couldn't move. Darkness crept in. The last thing I saw was Lily draped over Julian, screaming, Why did you do this? Why? She still had feelings for him. Laughable. Truly laughable. I thought I would die. But when I opened my eyes, I saw a white ceiling. Smell of antiseptic. You're awake? A gentle voice. Sophia. She looked gaunt, eyes red, but she lit up seeing me awake. Ethan, you're finally awake. She gripped my hand. I croaked. Water. She fed me water carefully. How long? Was I out? 3 days. The bullet missed your heart by a centimeter. I was so scared. She wept. I tried to wipe her tears, but was too weak. Don't cry. I'm okay. Sophia nodded, burying her face in my palm. Noah? Grandpa? They're safe. Noah was scared, but he's okay. Grandpa is resting. Julian and Lily. Sophia's eyes hardened. Julian was caught. Attempted murder, possession. He got life. And Lily. Sophia paused. She was grazed by the bullet trying to stop him. She didn't go to the hospital. She went to the cops. She confessed everything. How Julian broke parole, got the gun, planned revenge. She said her stupidity caused this. She surrendered. Because of her cooperation and surrender, she got 5 years. I was silent. 5 years. For Lily, perhaps this was the best ending. Prison might be the only place she could truly reflect on her life. Ethan, Sophia asked cautiously, will you forgive her? I shook my head. It's not about forgiveness. Her life has nothing to do with me anymore. I just hope she learns to live for herself, not for some fantasy or dependency on others. Sophia nodded. The room went quiet. Sunlight warmed the bed sheets. I looked at the woman beside me, feeling overwhelmed with love. I squeezed her hand. Sophia, when I heal, let's travel the world. Just the two of us. Sophia froze, then smiled through her tears. Okay, we'll go everywhere. Provence for lavender, the Aegean for the sunset, Iceland for the aurora. I smiled too. Life is long. The world is big. The past is just smoke. What matters is the person in front of me and the days to come. My life truly began the moment I met Sophia. Our story was just starting. I closed my eyes, feeling the warmth of her hand. Peace. It's good. End of story.